Welcome to Transformations with Tara Sutphen. Tara Sutphen is the author of Blame It on Your Past Lives, Soul Agreements, and The Abenda Chronicles. Grammy-nominated audios, videos, and MP3 series. You can find these MP3 series now at tarainsight.com.
Hey, welcome to Transformations with Tara. This is Tara Sutphen. And my guest today is Jason D. McKean. And maybe Spokaneum's coming in, but we're going to talk about what if you don't have a spiritual side today.
If you don't have one.
Yes, you don't have one. Or you don't feel you have one.
There you go. I think we have one, whether we feel that we do or not. I think that, if we're wired kind of in a healthy manner, absolutely we have one. But recognizing it and taking ownership of it, that's something. How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm very good.
Good.
How about you?
It's been I'll be honest, it's like I want to project as much like peaceful energy right now as possible, in the world and all. It's like I feel that I just need to embody my own sense of peace and all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, embodying your own sense of peace is very good. Now, is it because of all the world issues?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, just stuff that is heavy, and it can be a mix of that, and also, the winter, has been that time. It's a time of like where you're getting ready to blossom, into the next part of spring and all. And so, one can take the time to be thoughtful in that place of like, who's emerging, what is that being that I want to be upcoming, and really, take ownership of that and, move that forward in a strong way.
Right. Well, my thing is that it's all about prayers and it's all about being ready to help. And the thing is that, everybody deserves mercy. And when it's your time to receive mercy, because everybody goes through something.
Yeah.
And so,
everyone.
Mm-hmm. And so, it's just to stay and, hold sacred space, hold safe space for people. Yeah. And if they need the help, then, you jump into that. You'll know what it is when the time comes.
Yeah. It's like this topic that you chose, right?
Yeah.
The, looking at, it's basically looking at one's spiritual self. And if you're not like identifying with something, that's like the human being, the mind, it likes to organize things, it likes to categorize things, and it's like, oh yeah, spirituality, I am this person, and they'll label it, right? And that can help just keep things straight in our own being.
Yeah.
But I feel that there's a difference between, just spirituality and let's say religion, or a certain like thought, or an organized way of being. I think that spirituality is a living part of ourself that can be evolving, that can be changing as we deepen our relationship with our spiritual self.
Yes.
And so that journey, when one is actively committed to seeing their spiritual self, and what is that, right? What is one's spiritual self? What do you think it is?
Well, I believe that we're all spiritual beings, whether we think we are or not. We're spiritual beings in a human body. So we just don't remember a lot because gravity takes away that memory, because, we have to stay planted down here on the earth because we're moving at 65,000 miles an hour, through space, but we think that we're standing still and that change is not a real thing. And that our life is changing every moment. And, people will compare things, I hear people compare things to other times in history and stuff. And, it just doesn't correlate usually because, we're an ever evolving humans are ever evolving. So I think it's very interesting anyway, that we just need to stay centered as well as, not let ourselves be carried away by too much stress. That's the thing, stress. And where they, it's all kind of a game sometimes to certain people to get everybody hyped up. It's odd. It's very odd to me. So it's trying to outthink that, definitely try to outthink that. But the spiritual part of you is that, if we are divine in the cosmos, we have been given this opportunity of great life. And so we have to create it as wondrous as possible. So that's what we do. And you never know, in times of trouble, some people really come to the fore. They become heroes. They become, they know they can do it. They're strong. And that's the thing, is to stay strong.
Yeah. In the tarot, it's like the spirit is a big part of like looking at one's core, and it's represented by fire, right? It's like it can be just a tiny spark within someone. It can be a big conflagration, right? It can be something that's like, yeah, let's do this, that motivation, the energy, and the knowing of like, this is who I am. I am a healer, or I am a warrior, or I am an artist, or I am it's a knowing within the directions that you want to go in.
Right.
And it can be tiny, right? It's like we can have that spark, but then within our own self we can have a mindset, a perception of ourselves is like, well, I can't do that. I know I'd like to do that, but I can't, and so, if one is in disalignment, disarray within themselves, if they're, not giving themselves enough permission or grace, to be able to blossom, to let that experiences become fuel for that spark, so that one can build that fire within, then that's where one is, it's one way of seeing spirit, and recognizing that one of the great responsibilities in our own life is to make sure that we see that fire within, and that we tend to it, that we allow for, again, experiences to come in and help fuel that. And is that in the context of positive actions, of building ourselves in meaningful ways, where we're engaged with the world. It's like we build ourselves, we engage with the world. We're expanding ourselves rather than just limiting ourselves. I mean, that's the potential that we all have, and that's what we look to build as counselors, certainly.
Yes. Yes. And I wore lavender today because the lavender flame within. So if you don't think that you have enough spirituality, just do some of the exercises, like just know that the lavender flame is within you, within your, like just above your heart, the lavender flame.
What is that? Just to
lavender
explain
flame.
it. Yeah.
Well, the lavender flame is just the spirit. It's like bringing the spirit back into your body, bringing back your divinity within your body, and maybe the goodness, the God light within, sparking it. And I do all sorts of different exercises for that. But yeah, it's part of your God light, the violet flame.
So you visualize it on your heart or above your heart? Or?
Above your heart, or, and you're even around your solar plexus would be good. Mm-hmm. But really it's just where my pendant sits, it's really good just to have the flame. Connects your body, connects your mind to having the spirit within, to whereas, you're holding that sacred space for somebody.
Right.
So you can give it a color. You don't have to have it red, or like a flame. It's just a violet flame, like a purity.
Beautiful. Beautiful. How early on did you recognize your spirit?
Oh, well, as a baby, because of my near-death experience as a baby, that surgery I had for 7.5 hours when I was young, baby. Yeah. So I remember everybody and everything and all the, everybody's feelings and what all they were going through. And as a baby, I had a lot of like opinions on things, like just, it's probably just generally past life. I don't know, because I really had, like, oh, these two should really try to work this out, or boy, the maturity level here needs to be brought up, and always.
Wait, was that with our parents?
Yeah, our parents. No, I love our parents, but our parents,
of course.
But our
they were kids.
Our parents, they did some funny things. And not really mom, I don't think, is more kind of dad. He can sometimes be honest with himself, but I loved him, he was really charming and amazing. But yeah. So anyway, yeah.
So you recognize it early on, as far as an intelligence within your own being.
Well,
that had like the awareness of your surroundings, but in a deep way.
Right. So I feel that because I had the second near-death experience when I was 8. So in that, I realized my consciousness went with me when I went to the light. So I didn't feel any different than, I didn't have a body, but I had a cosmic body with me. And so I didn't, I realized that it wasn't, I felt myself the whole time, that I was traveling but I and what I didn't want to do and what I did want to do. That I had that as well, because the second time on the near-death experience, I didn't want to go back at all. Didn't want to come back. And they said, oh, you have to, and they were adamant about it. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And they were like, oh no, you have to. So, and I just think, oh my gosh, if I hadn't come back, just, the whole family would have been so torn up by, just in general.
It would have been a different trajectory, certainly.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
So, but when you're in the zone of the euphoria of death, it's very tempting not to come back to. And my excuse, because I did have an excuse, was I'm super hurt. I'm going to be in a lot of pain. I don't want to deal with it. So I just didn't want to deal with it. And they said, no, you have to go back. You're going to have to deal with it. And it's going to be okay. You're going to get over it. It's going to be fine. Yeah. So, yeah. So anyway, that was and yeah, so you have excuses even. I mean, I had total consciousness, but you're just not, you're not, you're not in a nothing state like a lot of times people think that we are. So that spirituality, it just stays with us. Our consciousness stays with us. So even if, we've gone through something, I still, because I was out on the earth plane and out of my body, out of the earth plane, and saw myself leave my body out of the earth plane. But, that consciousness was with me. So that's the thing is that we are always a spiritual being, always. Now, how do you act upon being truly a spiritual person? Because a spiritual person, I believe, then brings you into goodness, or brings you into, doing the best you can in any situation. You're taking your best foot forward instead of the complaints and all the problems that life tends to want to hand off on you. Is okay, where is it that I'm going to be able to make the best out of this? Because, destined events will be coming into the fore. Like there's never really any chance. I wrote about that. I mean, sent out a blurb on that this week. We're all in destiny here. We have already chosen those specific beings that we're coming together with, and then we'll make the decision at the time. There's always that, making a decision. And it's always those meetings with people, those predestined events that happen, sometimes the illnesses that we have to deal with, all of it usually is for some reason that we decided, oh yeah, no, I can handle that. From the other side, it's going to be easy.
That sounds dramatic.
Easy. It sounds dramatic, but I'll be fine. I'm very independent and I'm strong. It's like you get there and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes, it takes you're building your team to get you building your team to get you back on your feet, building your team to be successful, building your team. This is it. You have to build teams. We all think we're lone wolves, but we are not. We have communities to create, environments to create, people to gather, and, life to live at its fullest.
Yeah. So, within that spiritual context, and, there's the individual soul, right? And yet, how we embody that spirit, how we project it out into the world, that's how we connect with others. That's how we find those areas of support, both with us as being supportive, and also those that support us as well, in mundane times, in trying times.
Yes. Yeah. And that's just it, that we have to get into our consciousness has to move so that our bodies start moving in a good, positive direction.
Yeah. And not everyone has experienced a near-death experience or something that has shown them just in a very, intense manner, like that part of themselves, that spiritual part of themselves.
Right.
It's like they can doubt, that there's a spirit, in life, this is it, this is just the only life.
Good karma. I think it's kind of good karma that you don't have to experience it. It shows that, you came down with a really solid plan. So the solid plan is like, what are you going to do with your solid plan? You're gonna live. You're gonna have an amazing life.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think that people can, recognize their spirit though, when they feel the direction, towards something that is a pull towards, and I'm not just talking about like, like in relationships, like love or something like that. It's like, oh, that person, but that is something that, it is something to listen to, as far as like, there can be a quality of something that is pulling you. It may not be the exact thing that you're going to end up with, but it can be a certain quality that you are being drawn towards. And in areas of life, if there are interests that are that you connect with on a deep level, it's like, really looking at those things and giving yourself permission to explore them at whatever level you can. Right. So some people will dive in. We've known people who, if they have like an area of interest, it's like, yeah, and they'll just, head first into it and just like, shred through it. Others will dip their big toe into it. And there's no judgment on any of that. It's like we're all kind of wired a little bit differently, but recognizing, that which you find meaningful, that gives you a sense of where you feel at home, in it can be a vocation, it can be a relationship, it can be those areas of support, that one is looking for. And sometimes it can, like the spiritual part of it, it can lead to wanting to define it, wanting to put a lid on it and say, well, this is what it is exactly, this is my spiritual quest. But it's important to, I feel, is to not try to put God in a box where
That's kind of nice.
where we don't look to just say, well, that's what it is, and I've clearly defined my own spirituality,
Right.
without letting it be a living thing within itself as well. Because
I like the Joseph Campbell. I like his take on it. That we can only do 4 things well, and there's 5 things in life within a 24-hour period.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times spirituality, your community, your region has a, has a set religion. And so people just decide, okay, I'm going to go that religion because I'll know where I'm going when I die. So I'll go to the set religion. And then it becomes, maybe you make friends in that, but you handle it. So it's not that big of a deal for you, on the other 4 areas of your life, which are relationships, your success, your health, your just friendships, maybe children, part of that, but so it's like, where does it fit into your life? For me, I love the greater aspect of spirituality, of all religions. I'm perfectly fine. I love studying them and seeing them, like all their holy people, but they in turn don't necessarily like mine, but I love theirs. It's all good. To me, it's all, it's more of a flow of the universe. And I think that's the real crux of spirituality, is that you're flowing in the natural semblance of life. That's why I love the aspects of the universe and the moon and the stars and all of it. I think that the more you flow, the better your life's going to be. So like this month, the moon is all about the most intense aspects of really, it's an assertive moon, very assertive. People say they're having a terrible month because it's been so assertive and even downright aggressive, but it's a very successful, if you're born with this moon anywhere in your chart, you're usually very successful or want to be successful. Yeah.
So there's a real drive,
There's a drive,
like an ambitious drive.
ambitious drive. Yeah. Ambition. So, but it can be more than ambition, it can be a little bit, if you let it go out of control, because it's a builder. So it's a builder aspect. So how are you going to let that building aspect, affect your life?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that can be like the bulldozers coming out and like, all right.
Well, we're seeing that, we see that in different areas of the world even. So, there's more aspects usually to it, but at that point, but
yeah, it's like, but even with like areas of healing and all, one can have that ambition, one can have that building, wanting to, bring awareness to others if there's healing issues that need to be addressed, where that's put out there so that people can work on that too. So it's, I don't see it as just a negative thing at all, as far as when something is either ambitious or has a desire to be projected out into the world.
Right.
There can be positive aspects that are there as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like someone posted recently something about how nature is the great balancer, and we're a part of nature, as far as if we feel like we're into go and come in from another angle of something and help out, then that's part of nature at work.
Yes.
And our spiritual nature, that can, it can, I think you touched upon something very important, which is again, kind of like, tapping into the wiring of someone, if they are at a place where they don't want to have to worry so much about an area of their life that they become like hyper focused on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we can just be wired to like say, okay, that's cool with me, I'll just do that, and then you move on to something that you're more interested in, something that you're wanting to really dive into. And it's like we get a lot of chances in not just this life, but over the course of many lives. I think you would agree that it's like, one doesn't have to be all things in one life.
No. Well, it's too hard to be, you can try to be all things in one life, but that's really hard. I mean, you can try to be, do everything that you do well. I would say that I strive for that. I know you strive for that.
Yeah. And it may be in, just a few areas that we were able to do that because of our own just, limitations of time and
limitation of
space.
Time. Yeah, it's limitation of time, really. And that you only have the capacity for so much in your brain, really. I mean, you can download it and continually, but to really retain it, you want to retain it as much as possible if you want to be considered a scholar at it, or if you want to be considered a teacher of it. Yeah, it's good to know some things. Yeah.
Speaking of teaching, you have a seminar coming up.
Yes, I have a couple of seminars coming up. So you guys can all, come into both of them. I have the Sedona Psychic Seminar on March 19th and 20th. And that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm having both the seminars at a ranch, and the ranch has a labyrinth, and it's a private ranch. So it's going to be really fun. And it has a labyrinth that is incredible, and it has a medicine wheel that was just built a few years ago by somebody, or a year ago maybe, by somebody who it's phenomenal. They're just more than. So it's just really beautiful. And then, and some of you may have seen it in some of my pictures and stuff. And then they're now, the Rinpoches have come in, because they've now chosen a space to put up a Rakta stupa. And stupas are guardians too. So it's the guardian of the land, guardian of the vortexes in Sedona. So it's nice. So this one will be on the east side, but it's at a private residence. So it's going to be great. It's to be chosen by, it's pretty beautiful.
That's so great. And so that's the 19th and 20th of March.
Yes.
And
then
weather-wise, it's usually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty perfect usually. And then the Shaman Apex is the 25th, 26th, 27th. So yeah. If you're wanting to come, sign up because yeah, it's important to get our count going. It's all going to be there.
Yeah, and that's a powerful. There's just a lot of energy that is transformed.
Right, and they're different. They're both different types of seminars. One's a teaching seminar, and the other one is the Gathering of Healers. And we do some teaching, but it's mostly just communing, meditations, healing sessions. It's really nice. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And where can people read more about that?
Working on yourself. Yeah. They can on terrainsight.com. There's buttons at the front, which just take you right into where the seminars are. And then there's Instagram. I'm on Instagram, Twitter. I'm on everything pretty much. Yeah. Except for I'm not on
Snapchat?
No, TikTok. I'm not on
TikTok.
I am, but I'm not really. I never have done that.
No dance video on TikTok?
No dance video.
Yeah. And why not?
Yeah, right. Well, I thought about it, but then I just didn't, I just haven't gotten to it. So just a little busy. Yeah. But yeah. And then I do the equine too. I do the equine sessions. So therapy with the horses, but it's therapy for you, not for the horse, for you. And, I can take people who own horses and do therapy with both of them or with the horse, which I've done that too, but it's mostly for humans.
Right. It's not, would you like a bag of votes?
You don't have to be a rider or because you're not riding, but you don't have to be a person who's ever really been touched a horse. We have a lot of those people. So just come in for the therapy, and the horses there love it. It's just really cute how they get on board. Yeah. Yeah.
So awesome.
They're on it. They just love seeing me show up. Yeah.
Well, horses love you. I've every time I've gone to a barn, a stable there with you, all the horses are like, "Oh, Tara's here." All of their ears, and they're ready.
Yeah. Yeah. And my two make big overtures, but I have other friends in the barn too. They make overtures too. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so cute. Either that, they're telling me they want something, they're always trying to get me to do something for them. Pretty funny. Yeah, love horses.
Well, that's something that, it's like you have a connection with horses. You always have, and that's something that's at your own spiritual core, and to be able to activate, sometimes, it's just a reason to hang out with horses. All right. But
Right.
to do something meaningful with that
Right.
as well is something that is fulfilling, like a greater like sense of your spiritual purpose too.
Mhm. Right. Well, I think that the horses' hearts are very big. So the aura is very big on the love level.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's you're being encompassed. And so when you learn to know how to do it, and I teach people how to connect and that's when they, the horse becomes really in tune with the person they're working with. And so that, I do like a lot of techniques. So then it's like, oh, and so then the therapy becomes, but yeah, the horses are really in tune at that point.
All right.
But it's I think of everything, you have to be with an energetic energy is you can work with it to make it work with you instead of working against it, because we see this all the time, people working against themselves or working against the whole system of things. It's like, no, we flow with it, with that energy. And it's not to get too excitable about things. It's to hold sacred space. And to be very centered within yourself. And that comes with meditation, I think, as well.
Well, I think, at the center of one's being is, that spiritual self.
Mhm.
And again, like, having a sense of, what's meaningful, what's purposeful.
Mhm.
And then, making sure that your actions aren't, that you can be in alignment with it.
Yeah.
That you can embody, who you are at your center. And, that can take practice too. It's just because we look to be someone in the world doesn't mean that everyone else is like, oh yeah, that, they're totally on board with it. Right. It's like there can be some environments that are like, oh God, no, not that person, and that can, again, looking at, the person who is, if they are destructive in their behavior or whatever, I mean, that's a way of, looking to temper that, so that one is, a productive part of the whole community. But
Fun to bring it around. I mean, everybody has a chance to bring it around. Bring it around. Yeah. Start moving in a different direction, whatever that might be.
yeah, but there are, I think energy, like spiritual energy, it's like when you recognize it in yourself, it's like it's something that can, when you send out like healing, when you send out intention, your prayers, however you want to call it, it's like that has potency to it. It has power. And, when you recognize it in yourself, it's like, and you look to build on it, to not just, gain power in a, a way of manipulating others, or, looking to control things, but looking to enhance your life,
Right.
to build your life, to help build up others. This is, um, where, because I feel that even though our own spirit, it feels like it's our own individual, part of our own quest, is that it also recognizes the connectivity of everything else.
Right.
And so there is this harmony that one looks to be a part of overall. and not to just be a disruptive force or something that is just um, too negative.
Right. Right. And that's the thing, is not to give in to that negative, because it damages your spirit. It does. So whatever that means on a more, on a bigger level, because it's important. It's important to, keep honing yourself into being who you would want someone else to be toward you. It's like a mirror reflection. We don't always, so many people are like in need, and, we see that right now in the world. But the thing is that, you have to be strong enough when that time comes to be that person that someone can count on. And where are you that person? Where are you that person that someone can count on?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the spiritual, I think, lessons. Yeah.
And recognizing your own part in that, like right
yeah.
In this particular lifetime, right?
Yeah.
Like where it is that you can strengthen your own spiritualness,
Mm-hmm.
your own spirituality. Those it's like you don't have to be the full thing. You certainly can be if you want, if you have that capacity, right, to be as expanded as you need to be, right? Like I mean, we all know people who they influence their little pocket, their little niche, their own corner of the world. But there are some that have a greater capacity to be more influential in the world, and that's a connection with their own spirit, that they're recognizing, or I think that someone doesn't get to that place without recognizing that they have like that type of either influence, or they're extending their own spiritualness.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's like they've given themselves that permission to be as large as they need to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful thing, when you see someone kind of shining in their own nature, spiritual being, that there's a beauty to it. I mean, I see beauty to it. I don't know and it's not a part of judgment or opinions or someone's knowledgeable. You see a lot of knowledgeable people that you don't think of that are spiritual at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A spirituality is more of how people make you feel. It's not really how they, what they know sometimes.
Right. Yeah. It's and I'll see it too as how it is that they're able to connect.
Yeah.
The quality of connection that they have with others. We can see it in music. Like where there's musicians that like play a certain vibration, right? That's all sound in music is. It's a vibration, and it can bring people together in this this larger community, and it can be one that is a very positive force in their life. And there's others that it can feel like it's a, a, a destructive energy, and so that, looking out, for that quality of connection, that's something to look at too, as far as like your own sense of spirituality. I'll just say that for myself, as a musician, it's like, I have affected way more people in a positive manner with the ohms, by
Right.
chanting the ohm. It's like that has shown me the quality of connection is, so much more positive and healing. It's a
Well, that would have been a
vibration.
destined event. That was destined because you didn't know at the time that that would be such a big destiny for you. And the same
No.
thing with Bobby Slap is who produced it. And Jason was on Eternal Om, which is a huge, huge a service to the world. It's a service to the world. And, they have never really gotten any royalties from that album. They actually haven't gotten any. So the thing is that, but it's a service to the world. That is a beautiful, amazing album. And it will come back to you 1,000 million fold because of what it does in the world. But you have your other albums that are all the Om albums: Om Serenity, Om Indigenous, Om Beats, 108 Sacred Ohms. What else? I mean, there's so many.
Om Sanctuary.
Om Sanctuary. Yeah, which I love Om Sanctuary so much too. So yeah, the thing is that, and then he has the Om meditations, and then Jason is, he's the Om tarot wizard. And then he's prolific with helping others in sessions. And I mean, he has the most fun tarot classes of anybody in the entire world. They're so much fun. And, I even love to go to, I love Jason's classes. So anyway, it's just, that has hit people. That just resonates. And that is a destiny. That's destiny at work. That's putting you together with the right people at the right time to create that. And it going out into the world is a gift to the world. Because it's definitely a gift.
Yeah, I feel that it is a gift, and it's not something that was planned on my part at all, but it would be, if I didn't recognize it as a gift, if I didn't see the result of it, how people, connect with it, that would be wrong on my part. That would be something that'd be like, are you blind, man?
Right. Right.
And that's where, one can, be in that living moment of spirituality where, there's expansion, right? Where it's like, oh, what I thought about spirituality is like, actually, it's not just that, it's also this. And, it keeps expanding. I mean, it's just like, it keeps expanding with everything I do. One thing I wanted to talk about was I do have, because I've been I've self-published my own book, and I've been helping friends self-publish. I am teaching a class. I know it's going to be on the 13th of March. There's going to be one class then, and then another that's
publishing your own book
on self-publishing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, so I'll be posting that, but that's another part of, how information, if you're involved in a task, in some kind of process, how you can lay it out and then share it with others, so that it empowers them to, for any writer who's like kind of stuck, who's saying, oh, I've written this, but now what? I'm going to look for a publisher, right? It's like, how
Wow,
about you,
writing.
just do this, and this, and then like, there it is.
Yeah.
You've got your own book.
Right. Yeah, mine is just about done. Boy, it takes a long time, I'm telling you. Yeah, write them books.
One has to live the experience when it's a work of nonfiction, right?
Nonfiction.
One has to live it. One has to, be in that authentic place of it, and then report on it in a fun way, but in a informational way. And that's what takes like the time, right?
Right.
You're not just like, it was a cold, stormy night.
But that is kind of fun. Start off with it. That's what when they were creating Frankenstein, right? It was a cold, stormy night.
Yeah.
You used it. Mary Shelley. Yeah, it's great. Hey, so what other seminars do you have going? Are you doing any Japanese seminars right now?
I will be doing a workshop in Japan at the end of March. Might be April 1st, April Fool's Day there in Japan. And I think it's March 30th for me. And we'll be doing a Tarot workshop, a 3-hour Tarot intensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I do 3 tarot classes a week, and everyone gets to read, which I feel is the most important part of learning tarot, is that connection of intuition to your voice and, putting it out there.
Okay, good.
And I have it marked out on my website, Jason D. McKean, JASON, D as in Dumbledore, MCKEAN.com.
Right. All those dings, there are people saying they're coming to seminars. So it's
Awesome.
cute. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
And that's your March 19th and 20th Sedona seminar, yeah?
Yep. So sign up. There's only so much room.
And then the Healing Apex afterwards.
Yep. Shaman Summit afterwards. Swell Canum, Lummy, Elder, incredible, violinist with the Seattle Symphony, and he's going to come next week. He had a hard time getting in, so we'll have him in next week. Say hi.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. Lots of love, everybody. Blessings.